there's this human part of me that really wants to be able to say, if I do these things, this will happen. That I'm doing these things and I don't fully know what the outcome is going to be. And it's almost more, how about I keep showing up and develop the person that I'm going to be when I get to that point.
Welcome back to In Residence. I'm Keith.
And I'm Laura.
Hey, Laura.
Hi, Keith.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing swell. What are we talking about?
So Groundhog's Day is coming up.
Groundhog Day.
Sorry, gosh, darn it. Groundhog Day is coming up. Why do I put S's on everything?
I think it's genetic.
It must be. Yeah, like Barnes and Noble and Myers.
No, that's correct. It's not. It's not Barnes and Nobles, or you say Aldi's and stuff like that.
Gosh darn it.
Anyway,
I don't know. I want to make everything plural.
I don't try to be the grammar police, but it is kind of fun to help you not say extra S's.
Oh gosh, I don't even notice it, but I'll try. Okay, so Groundhog Day is coming up. That was a clean one, right?
Yep.
Okay. And I thought maybe we could talk about that. I feel like there's a lot of lessons that can come from Groundhog Day. And so folks, I think most people probably know what it is, but it's a holiday in the United States where is it March 2nd or no? Oh gosh.
February 2nd.
Yeah, you're going to have to take the wheel, hon.
So it comes from, obviously, like most of our traditions, it comes from like the old country, right? So I know there's Celtic and German lineage to it.
Okay.
And so, but anyway, the gist of it is we pull a groundhog out of his hole or little box or wherever they're keeping them. And if the groundhog sees their shadow, there's 6 more weeks of winter.
Right.
And if not, then there'll be an early spring.
Correct. And we're always hoping, right, for the early spring.
Around here, because we're in the north. And regardless, winter lasts until like the middle of March, if we're lucky.
Right.
if not beyond. If
we're lucky.
Yeah.
So we normally have 6 weeks anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And actually, in preparation for today, I did look up to see how accurate the groundhog typically is. It's only like 35 to 40%. Like it's pretty low.
Because it has no bearing on reality.
Right. It's worse than a coin flip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I still like the tradition. And last night, you and I, in preparation, watched Groundhog Day, the movie.
Yeah, with Bill Murray.
Yes. And it was from 1993.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that old.
You definitely felt dated a little bit, but, again, like everything in hindsight, you're like, ooh, that's a little not quite how we go about doing things nowadays, but like it's still, there's some good jokes and the overall message was be a good person.
Right.
But the reason that came up was we're trying to think of like what to talk about, and you're like, well, Groundhog Day is coming up, and that movie is all about somebody that's stuck and they're repeating the same thing over and over.
Right.
And I'm like, I haven't seen that in a long time. So let's watch it and see what comes out of that. So,
yeah. And we often talk about being stuck and how to get unstuck, and it just seemed like it made sense.
Yeah. We tend to be talking about, ways to grow, ways to lean into challenges. Right. And how to, attain the goals that we set. Right. So we're going to kind of take this theme, can be a little playful with it, but really it's like, it's another way of looking at, how do we keep moving if we feel stuck? And I think we both we kind of just went away and independently thought of, what do we think of when we think of Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
And whatever we can extract out of that. So I think we should, just dig into it.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
So the first thing that came to my mind when we were talking about what did we learn either from the movie or from this holiday, and the first thing that came to mind is that repetition can really be a teacher. So I didn't remember, but in the movie, there's some scenes where he has been stuck day after day in this kind of Groundhog Day purgatory. I don't know if
that's what it felt like. That's kind of what I called it. And I'm like, right? I don't know if that's the right word, but I mean, at a certain point, he felt trapped.
Absolutely.
Like, he went to some extreme measures to see if he could kind of break what it felt to him as like a curse.
Exactly.
And it didn't work.
I know. And there was a point, though, where he started realizing, okay, how about instead of me showing up and making this feel like a curse every day, what if I learn things?
Yeah.
And so there's one, he just all of a sudden created a snow sculpture. And we're like, where'd that come from?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, right? How many hours do you think, or how many days? Because it's probably what he wakes up at 6 and he most of the time was probably going to bed around. One time it was like 4 in the afternoon, and we're like, is that 4 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, I guess technically it could be 4 in the morning, because he said it at one point. He's like, it doesn't reset until 6 in the morning. And Andy McDowell's character, she's like, you tricked me. He's like, well, I didn't say it was going to switch at midnight, so it was kind of funny, because I had seen somebody else like kind of do like a little piece on this movie, and they're like, how many hours do you think it takes to learn piano that well? And I'm like, oh yeah, that was another thing. And so do you. I'm like, well, you're a piano player, like, and you're like, yeah, that would take years. And I'm like,
I don't think I could play that right now, and I've played piano since I was 3, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the how long was he working at certain things, and when every day is a repeat? It's interesting. You're leaning into what could you get done if every day was the same, and I went into the stuckness of it. Came up for me right away.
Yeah.
And so we can get into that. But anyway, we were looking at the ice sculpture scene. And what came out to you besides like how many hours was he spending learning that?
Yeah, I think it made me realize it wasn't just how many hours, but he decided he was going to learn something and start leveraging his time in a useful way. Or, I mean, snow sculpturing.
What did I just hear? I'm like, oh, that's the word. Self-enrichment.
Yes.
Right? So, because for a while there, he kind of gave into his baser needs and was using this as a way to gain information to enrich himself in the not non-ethical ways, let's say, like stealing money from the bank, learning stuff about a random girl that he thought was cute, and things like that.
Or just ordering, and I don't know if this is not ethical, but just ordering like 12 different things at breakfast. And like being like, I'm just going to eat and binge on all of this.
Because there's no consequences.
No consequences.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so without the consequences of his actions, he was left with not being thoughtful of his actions in a way. Like, or, I'm not sure if it's ethical or not, but it was, he tended to make, I guess, what I would call like not the best choices. Right. And like the people around him, like, are you not concerned with cholesterol? Are you not concerned, like, when he was eating everything at breakfast? Right.
Yeah.
So the whole movie is kind of like the progression of showing maybe making choices for these probably altruistic reasons or reasons beyond you kind of ended up being the key to him getting unstuck.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, this probably feels like a spoiler alert, but again, the movie was done in 1993. So if you haven't seen it yet,
it's over 30 years.
Yeah, it's over 30 years. So hopefully it's not a spoiler alert. But he begins to start realizing when people are doing things that are going to hurt them and intervenes. So, a kid falls out of a tree and he catches them on each day. Somebody's choking in a restaurant and he knows, he goes and he performs the Heimlich remover, right? Some ladies are driving down the road, their tire is flat and he has a jack and a new tire and just changes it.
Which is funny because that means he's seen it happen already. So he knew enough to get the materials he needed. So anyway.
Right. I mean, that repetition as a teacher, so you can use it to leverage and to learn new things. But it also, maybe to go to your part about being stuck a little bit, there's also moments where I was realizing when I'm thinking about repetition that you start seeing the same sort of decisions and the same thing happen over and over again based on what you decide to do. So I know one thing that I talk about quite a bit and I talk to you about is sometimes I feel like my schedule is super packed. I don't think anybody that knows me really well would be like, well, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they saw my work calendar, and that's not a brag, it's I think I allow my schedule to get overpacked because I don't want to say no to people. I really value relationships. And so there's that repetition where I see that happen over and over again. And then I reset my boundaries a little bit. And then in a couple months, my schedule is packed again. So I think that there's also that piece where if you don't continue to attend to the things and learn, like, whoa, okay, why am I in this situation again where I'm stuck or back to where I was? And maybe this is just good to know we're never done learning. And I've been through it once before. So now I have more strategies. I think that kind of ties that repetition to your stuckness theme that you were talking about.
Yeah. So around being stuck, I was, it made me think, okay, so what is making you feel stuck? If you're feeling stuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it because something is scary and so you're not trying? Is like perfectionism comes up, right? Am I avoiding doing it because it can't do it right? Is something that comes up for me,
Right.
or has come up for me. And so it's kind of, I guess there's some internal reasons and there's some external ones. So am I hiding from it, or is there an actual block that I'm not sure how to get around that's outside of me? But I mean, a lot of times the things are internal, and like what it made me think of is like, I'm afraid of my shadow kind of thing. Like the shadow comes up, that part of you that's telling you like you're not good enough, you don't know how to do it right. That thing will get you stuck.
Yeah.
And so that came up for me. Like, well, I'm like, well, you need to. I guess this goes back to like the tools and stuts and the psychology stuff, but you need to kind of embrace that part of you,
Right.
or embrace all the parts of you, because if when you don't and you allow yourself to, I guess maybe like your inner monologue might be you're not good enough, right?
Right.
Something you're trying to do, and then you don't try. So then, of course, you're stuck because you're not trying. You're not looking for that growth. And so if you don't it's kind of like, or the way I think of it, sorry, it's about me. I'm not trying to project on others. But so when I'm afraid that I might make a mistake, or it might not work out, I'm uncertain, right? That's usually when I'm kind of afraid of making a mistake. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. And so if I can embrace that instead of withdrawing from it and just saying like, no, I guess I won't even try. It's like I go into that, what's that small little thing I can do to get a little more clarity for like one step, right? And if I can do that, then I'm not running from the thing that's scary. I'm embracing it, right?
Right.
Because if I find when I defer and allow the resistance to pop up, then I start to chase things that aren't the best for me, or I look for things that are going to soothe me because I'm feeling bad. Whether it's food or drink or whatever, whatever people might choose, right? Like we find these things that are soothing, and I'm like, I those are symptoms of something that's underneath, right? Like I know I'm getting kind of heady here, but that's like where I went, is I'm like, if I'm allowing myself to be okay with, oh, I'm not quite sure,
Right.
and it doesn't have to be perfect, so therefore I'm simply going to try and embrace like that part of my brain that's really found empowerment in trying little experiments. All of that, like, kind of combat that scariness of it not being good enough. And then that thing when you're stuck and you're deferring and not taking any action because whatever you're hiding from or whatever might feel like is stopping you, you're not getting any closer. But if you take small habits and small steps and they build up, right? And that foundation that we talk about or whatever, everybody talks about, like, it's so simple to say, do something small, but it's not always easy. But the more you do it, you build that resilience, right?
Right.
So that was kind of what I was like circle journaling about. And I know we've talked about it before too.
Yeah. It's reminding me a little bit. There was a quote that is in a Facebook group that I'm a part of. And it was talking kind of about what you're saying. I actually wrote it down as part of this. Not the whole thing. Yeah. You don't necessarily need to make these big, large decisions that are perfect. Sometimes change or the direction you want to go or getting unstuck is made in small, quiet decisions that you're making. And so the line that really caught me that I wrote down is trust one honest choice at a time. And that, I think, is true with so much of what we do. I think it's so easy, I think, sometimes to feel like we're getting stuck because there's the voices in our head, right, are trying to tell us, don't stick your neck out too far. Right. Yeah. Not so fast. And I mean, a lot of that, I think, is to protect us. But to get unstuck, it is making those small little choices or those small decisions. Yeah. Right. Even like in the movie, not being stuck of every single day, I'm going to steal a bag of money and get like this huge, gigantic car. Yeah. Right. And have a huge night out on the town. But to say, you know what? I want to enrich people's life. I want to save people's lives. I want to learn piano. I want to do, all these things, learn how to do ice sculpturing, learn that too. Or read French literature and poetry. Yeah. I think sometimes it's just saying, okay, this is where I want to go. And what's that small step? You can do it one day at a time.
There's something too about, are you stuck because you're comfortable, right? And comfortable is safe. And there's nothing wrong with that, except for there's also not really a lot of growth with the comfort, right? Like out of discomfort is where the growth happens, out of that tension that happens when you're going from what you know to what you don't know, that learning and that growth, right? So that kind of came up with that as well. And I don't know if I've seen the whole movie since probably it came out. And when I have seen it, it was probably like on cable. So it was either edited or cut down a little bit.
Probably edited.
So there was one point when he was in a cafe and he was simply reading like books and literature. I don't remember exactly what they were. But that was it. That was the whole scene. It was just them slowing down and like you said, that quiet progress and that quiet, steady decision of, I'm going to sit here. Like he's like, well, I'm here again. I'm going to take this day, which was probably many days, and I'm going to read through this literature.
Right.
And it was probably a classic of some kind or some type of, stoicism or whatever, and I was like, because the rest of the movie was a little more like flamboyant and boisterous and like, entertaining. Yeah. And there was just a couple moments where it was just this kind of quietness. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. That's kind of what I was talking about as well, is the slow, steady is, I guess, is that the tortoise and the hare thing, right? The slow and steady gets you to the end,
sure.
Faster than not starting, or burning out, like by going too hard. Okay. So there's this another little thing. I totally forgot about this.
Yeah.
I was listening to, I think it was a Greg McEwen podcast.
Okay.
And I don't remember exactly because this was recently, and I haven't finished it, but he had somebody on, was again the stuff that we like, which is like ways of kind of like ways and thoughts and ideas of like that help you level up and probably get through being stuck. And the guest he had on, I think it's a book of like, I don't know if it's rules or just things that are helpful. And like number one was rest. And I was like, ooh, that's tricky, I think, for both of us. And in different ways and at different times. and and it worked with this idea. I haven't talked about it in a while, but it's because I can over prepare, right? So we're always a little careful when I talk about, oh well, are we prepared? Because I can get stuck in the prepared loop.
Yes.
Of that's where I'm constantly researching. But the preparedness of the idea of like when you think of like pulling back an arrow in a bow, and that you have to prepare by pulling back, and that creates the tension and then the release, and that's what lets it propel forward.
Yeah.
And so if I can start thinking of rest as this is the first step before I launch forward, right? Or that taking that step back allows you to go like launch forward, right? And maybe that is a little bit of what I need sometimes, but I need it to be defined so that it doesn't elongate and turn into an excessive amount of rest. Whereas you need to be a little more like, okay, I do need to rest because I am going too much, and that's where I think we're a little different is I need to be mindful of it because it's helpful, but too much of a good thing isn't always the best. And like you said, you always want to be helpful. You fill your schedule. You want to be there for people. You want to do this. You don't want to say no. And of like, oh, I got to bring this up to Laura. Like, there is a place for rest, and we've been embracing that, more and more in irrespective of each other of how we both need to. But it came up again.
Yeah, last week, and I can't remember if I told you this or not, but I was trying to think because I had a pretty big week with lots of different meetings and presentations and facilitation that was going to be happening. And I was a little stressed out, not because any one thing was super stressful, but I wanted each of them to go well in their own way and make sure that I was prepared, because if I'm not prepared, then it wastes other people's time. And I don't like doing that. I was talking to someone and they said, what is one small thing that you can do this week that's going to help you continue your morning routine because that grounds you, but also show up for yourself and in work. So morning routine personally and work wise. And I thought for a while and I thought, gosh, what if I just went to bed when I'm actually tired instead of staying up later? So there was a couple nights this past week.
I say that to myself all the time, and then all of a sudden I look and it's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fail.
Yeah. No, but there are some times that I went to bed at like 9, 8:30, 9:30.
Yeah.
I don't think I got to bed at 8. But I went to bed fairly early and I didn't stay up until 10 or anything like that. And so
that'd be wild.
That'd be wild. But yeah, no. So last week I did prioritize rest. And what's funny, I sent you a reel as well that I thought was just super eye-opening, because sometimes I feel like I am not as productive if I'm not doing something. So you're right. I have an issue sitting still and resting. Like, unless it's resting, like the best resting I do is probably puzzling.
Yeah.
But then I'm being productive. So it feels like I'm still doing something. But I sent this reel to you, and I don't even know if you remember it, but it was kind of hacks for, I think if you have ADHD, some hacks to get stuff done.
Oh, okay.
It resonated with me.
Yeah.
And so one of the things was to leverage the tool of body doubling. And I was like, well, that sounds fantastic. I mean, I can clone myself and get more, like twice as much done. It's what I was thinking. But what it really was, and it was kind of fascinating and also a little creepy, is that you can have, like, as you're doing something, if you're having trouble focusing, imagine somebody is watching you finish the task.
Oh.
So imagine there's somebody else in the room holding you accountable for what it is you're trying to accomplish. And a couple of times this week, I use that because sometimes when I'm journaling, I'm like, oh, do I need something at the store? I wonder,
Yeah.
if did I pay that bill? Like I kind of,
Your mind wanders.
my mind wanders a little bit.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I'm scrolling on Amazon. Maybe that body double over there is wondering why she's not finishing her journaling.
Like, when did I set my pen down and pick up my phone?
I was like, what is
And
this?
how did I get on Amazon?
Right, exactly.
I've been there.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I think I'm just trying to say getting rest is a great thought. I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm just not very good at it always. But I tried this last week. I think it went okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just something to not feel guilty about, and that can be tricky because if you're feeling stuck, you're probably thinking at the same time, if I could only push through, if I could only do more.
Yeah.
And if you give yourself a little grace and take a little break, you might find out, like, oh, I'm spending more energy than I even realized.
Yeah.
And maybe then you can get into a spot where you can adjust and realize, like, oh, I don't need to be putting so much energy towards that over there or that over there, or implement some other things that help, like what you just said, or because that makes me think of, I've done some co-working Zoom calls before, and you simply just log in and then you go about your business. And it's like you can have it set up where, like, hey, everybody, we'll meet in 90 minutes and anybody can share anything if they want, or if not, I'll reset the timer.
Yeah.
And just have these chunks where you're not just putting yourself on the hook, but you feel like you have, like, a little accountability group with you, so finding little tactics that might help you do the things you need to do, as well as take care of yourself with some rest.
Yeah. Another theme that I was noticing as I was thinking about Groundhog Day, and this was kind of in the movie, but maybe it's more so just zooming out a little bit.
Doesn't have to keep being about the movie.
It doesn't.
Like, that was just a good excuse to watch a movie.
It was a nice little date night. But really thinking about Groundhog's Day in and of itself really is about predicting. And like I said at the beginning, we're not really great at prediction, right? And so there's this piece where humans, I think we're wired to try and find predictability and try and find certainty in the future. And we can't necessarily. We can notice patterns. We can have some really good guesses, right? Or some thoughts about where we might be going. But just like Groundhog Day, we might only get it right 35 to 40% of the time. Well, hopefully a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I thought that was an interesting thing because I don't know about you, but I often am thinking about, and maybe obsessing is not too strong of a word, about having predictability. So I'll give you just an example. And this is, I don't know if it's a great example, but we're going to go there. So child one right now, it has braces, right? And he's trying to get his teeth straightened. And we've been working to get reimbursement through our HSA. I have submitted to our HSA 4 different times, I think. At least. And so every time I submit, I have additional paperwork from our orthodontist that gives the additional information that the HSA is requesting. And so after I submit the new information, I am on there almost every single day. So I'm like, I'm going to predict that this time we got it. This time we figured it out correctly and gave them every single thing that we needed to give them per their letter. And every single time when all of a sudden I see it completed, but nothing is dispersed, I'm like, oh no, right? And so there's something about really wanting to know, like when I submit something, that I've submitted enough information with it that I can get the predictable result of being able to have that check come in the mail so we can give it to our orthodontist. It actually got approved last week.
Yeah.
So very excited.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like one example that I think where I kind of start just checking every single day because I want to see, right?
So that feels a little bit more like you want certainty and clarity.
Yes.
Which I totally understand. And the thing about letting like a groundhog predict the weather
right
is kind of like you're surrendering your agency to something that you have no control over.
Yeah.
Or whoever gets to decide that the groundhog told them that they saw it, like who gets to decide that, right? And then regardless, like the best thing in that movie to me, the funniest thing is when he comes out of his room the first day of going to do the report, and the guy comes up. He's like, "Hey, you going to go see the groundhog? You think it's going to be in early spring?" And he's like, "I predict it's going to be March 21st." That is predictable. The other thing is like a wish and a hope. And so, I mean, I'm not trying to dismiss everything you just said. For me, what's standing out is it comes back to what's in our control.
Right.
Like the thing that was in your control was filling out the paperwork every time.
Yep. Exactly.
And the thing that you kept doing was taking action.
Right.
You resubmitted and resubmitted and resubmitted over and over and over.
Yeah.
And you felt stuck.
It did. Yeah.
Now, if we threw our hands up in the air and stopped persisting, definitely nothing was going to happen, right? And so
exactly,
it's very similar to like our internet went out.
Oh, right.
And I was sitting there turning it off, unplugging the connection, plugging it back in, hoping that was going to work.
Right.
I was taking action that I hoped worked. And it got to the point where I'm like, well, that light is still red. There is nothing further I can do. Everything else is outside of the house, underground, probably not far enough because I saw him bury it. And I'm like, that's not deep enough. And guess what?
Cold.
Guess what failed? The cable that wasn't deep enough in a climate in which the top 4 feet of soil thaws and refreezes and thaws and refreezes with the weather.
Yeah. I go a little deeper.
And so there was some patience and persistence that had to happen, right? Like I was trying to make it work on my own, and then it couldn't, and then I had to get on the chat bot, and then the chat bot got escalated to a chat with a real person, supposedly.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, but I mean, text chat. And then an appointment got booked, and then I had to wait, right? So there's something about being persistent and resilient that I think that comes out of getting you to where you want to be.
Makes a lot of sense. I know we talk a lot about our health journeys on here, but I do want to just bring that up briefly because right now I've been doing a lot with drinking water, getting rest, doing strength training. Like we went over to your mom's house to do some weightlifting, right? She has a gym today, lift some heavy weights, which is kind of fun. But what I really, when you think about that and why am I doing those things from a prediction standpoint, what I want to know is what will happen to me. Will I be stronger? Will my hip stop hurting? Start hurting. Depends on my form.
Right.
No, but right. And so like there's this human part of me that really wants to be able to say, if I do these things, this will happen, Yeah. But like, I think I need to know there's a piece, I don't know if it's wisdom, but maybe it's growth that I'm doing these things and I don't fully know what the outcome is going to be. And it's almost more, how about I keep showing up and develop the person that I'm going to be when I get to that point, right? So if I'm to that point and I'm stronger, but my hip hurts, how will I show up as a person in a consistent way instead of saying, okay, I'm doing this, crossing my fingers, I'm gonna get there. Like with Groundhog Day, if it gets to be week 5 or week 6 or 7 and it snows, okay, well, how are we going to show up, right? We're going to get the shovels out. We're going to still get in the car and go where we can as long as the roads are safe and plowed. And we don't have to do it cursing under our breath because the groundhog was wrong, right?
Right. The joy I get now from the process and leveling up is fun.
Yeah.
I like the incremental growth that comes with getting better and better. Once I stopped waiting for the conditions to be just right and kind of hiding from a failure that I could predict, like, oh, I'm going to fail because I don't know enough, or if I like, again, like getting caught in like the research trap that you've seen me get caught in.
Yeah.
I was always looking for more information to help me make a better decision so that I had more clarity and certainty about wanting it to be right in making the right decision, whether it's buying a TV or a microphone, to record with, like getting these mics and the other two that I had, I did enough research to feel comfortable that this will be good enough. And at the same time, I knew there were better options, but they cost 10 times as much. And I'm like, that's not a choice I'm willing to make right now. Because this is back when we recorded like 2 episodes. And I'm like, okay, I think we need a little bit better microphones. I'm going to do a little research to see what's a little better. But I still knew like the perfect thing would be to spend like $5,000 on gear. And I'm like, that's not an option.
Not
like,
gonna
that's
happen.
not going to happen. So that push and pull of those things, but like building an instrument, like my first instruments I built, they're not great. Like there's very many imperfections. Or building these walls. Like I put these walls up in the basement, right? I built this stuff with the help from my dad. I know where all the imperfections are, and it's been long enough where it's like I don't know where they all are anymore. But like when there is one, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like I definitely didn't sand that right, or that I didn't know how to fix that, so I had to, figure it out as I went. But when I think back on those things, it's nice. Like it's kind of fun to go through a process where you learn. And I mean, I'm a nerd where I like to learn anyway.
I mean, those are good examples. Another one I'm thinking about too is parenting.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I mean, just in general, we want to be able to know everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
That they're going to be okay.
Wasn't that like where you surrender yourself to the fact that you just don't know?
Well, but I mean, we still show up, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We still hold them accountable, teach them things, are kind and empathetic when things aren't going well. And we hope that by doing that consistently, that will make them into empathetic human beings that do good things in the world. There's no guarantees though, right? I know that when child 2 was younger, I remember we said, he's either a genius or he's going to be an evil genius, right? Because he was so smart and figured everything out. And we're like, oh, got to be careful with this one, and he's just the sweetest.
Yeah.
And so, but that idea of, I just like that framing that I've been thinking of that we want to predict and know that it's going to be okay. Like I want to know that it's going to be okay. But I also know that the work I'm doing right now is helping me prepare for whatever happens in the future. I can show up in a way that I want to show up in those situations and relationships.
Yeah, loosening that grip on needing absolute certainty, right? And embracing good enough for now. And I can keep improving and on the next one and the next one and the next one, right? Like gonna keep showing up. Like it's a simple idea, but it's not necessarily easy. Like we get that. Like we're saying it because we want to embrace it, right? Not that we're 100% implementing everything,
Right. Do you want to wrap up this episode by giving a prediction if you think the groundhog's going to see a shadow or not? Then we can see.
Sure.
What do you think?
I think the groundhog will see its shadow.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with it's an early spring.
I think spring's going to be March 21st.
I'm sure you do. Very, very logical there.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't think it's going to be early.
No.
I'm going to be cold in May. And then I'm going to be really, really hot at the end of May.
That's just how it goes.
That's how it goes around here. Should we get out of here?
Let's do it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
I love you too.
Yay. That'd be wild.
That'd be wild.